Your comfort zone stopped being comfortable a long time ago. You just didn't want to admit it. You've been in the same situation for months, years maybe. Same job, same routine, same relationships that don't quite fit anymore but aren't bad enough to leave. And it used to feel safe, predictable, manageable. But now it hurts. This video is about what happens when staying put becomes more painful than moving, and why that pain is actually the thing that finally sets you free. If this sounds familiar, subscribe. We make videos about the silent struggles of adulthood every Tuesday and Friday. Let me tell you about someone who stayed too long. He'd built a life that looked fine from the outside. Stable job, decent apartment, predictable weekends. Nothing exceptional, but nothing terrible either. And for a while that felt like enough, like safety, like the smart choice. But somewhere along the way, he couldn't pinpoint exactly when, safe stopped feeling like refuge and started feeling like a cage. Same desk, same conversations, same drive home, same everything. What used to be comfort became confinement. Here's the thing about comfort zones. They're not fixed. The zone doesn't change, but you do. And when you outgrow the space but stay in it anyway, comfort turns into something else entirely. It turns into a very polite kind of suffocation. And the pain of staying still has a specific quality to it. It's not the sharp pain of failure, not the immediate sting of rejection or loss. Those hurt, but they're clean, they're obvious. The pain of stagnation is slow, ambient, like background noise you stop noticing until someone points it out, and suddenly you can't unhear it. It's the dull ache of knowing you're capable of more, but choosing less. The quiet erosion of watching days turn into weeks, turn into months, and realizing nothing changed except the date. It doesn't scream at you, it whispers, and that makes it easier to ignore. Until it doesn't, because eventually the whisper gets loud enough that you can't pretend you don't hear it anymore. And then there's the other thing that makes it hurt. Everyone else is moving. Not everyone, not all at once, but enough that you notice. Someone you used to work with starts something new. Someone you went to school with posts about a change they made. Someone you barely know seems to be building something while you're maintaining. And you tell yourself it doesn't matter, that comparison is meaningless, that everyone's on their own timeline. But late at night, when you're alone with your thoughts, you can't help but feel it. You're standing still while the world moves forward. And standing still in a moving world feels a lot like moving backwards. He felt that, the specific shame of being left behind, not because he failed, but because he never tried, because he chose safe over significant. And safe doesn't look so smart when everyone who took the risk is somewhere you're not. Then there's the numbness. People call it comfort, but it's not comfort, it's sedation. When every day is identical to the last, your brain stops paying attention, it autopilots, and autopilot feels like sleepwalking through your own life. You're not sad exactly, you're not anxious, you're just flat, gray, going through motions that stopped meaning anything months ago. And the worst part, you can't quite name what's wrong. Nothing's broken, nothing hurts in a way you can point to, so you tell yourself you're fine. You tell yourself this is just what adult life feels like. But deep down, you know the difference between peace and resignation, between contentment and giving up. This isn't peace, this is the slow death of staying somewhere your soul already left. And here's the thing that makes it even harder. You already know what you need to do. This isn't confusion. You're not lost. You're not searching for answers. You know exactly what would make this better. You've known for months, maybe years. Leave the job, end the relationship, move cities, start the thing, stop the other thing. The path forward is clear, uncomfortably clear. But knowing what to do and doing it are not the same thing, because knowing means you can't lie to yourself anymore. You can't pretend you're stuck when you're actually just scared. And that clarity, that brutal, unignorable clarity, is its own kind of pain. He had that clarity. He'd had it for a long time, and every day he didn't act on it, the weight of that knowledge got heavier. So why do you stay? Because the devil you know feels safer than the devil you don't. Because change is uncertain, and uncertainty is terrifying. Because what if you leave and it's worse? What if you take the risk and fail? What if the thing you're running towards isn't actually better than the thing you're running from? At least here you know what to expect. At least here you're not failing. You're just existing. And existing feels safer than trying. Except it's not. Because there are two kinds of pain, the pain of staying and the pain of going. And for a long time, the pain of going felt bigger, scarier, more real. But then something shifts. The pain of staying starts to outweigh the pain of leaving. Not all at once, slowly, gradually, until one day you realize this hurts more than change ever could. That's the point where it happens. Not when you're ready, not when you're confident, not when you have a plan. When the cost of staying becomes unbearable. That's when people finally move. Not because they're brave, not because they figured it out, but because not moving hurts too much to tolerate anymore. He reached that point, the day when waking up in the same life felt worse than the fear of building a new one. It wasn't dramatic. There was no epiphany, no lightning bolt moment, just a quiet, unavoidable realization. I can't do this anymore. Not I don't want to, not I shouldn't have to. I can't. When the cost of your comfort zone exceeds your tolerance for discomfort, you don't choose to leave, you just go. And here's what nobody tells you about that moment. It's a relief. Not because you suddenly stop being scared. The fear is still there. The uncertainty is still there. But the weight of indecision, the exhausting, soul-crushing weight of knowing you should change but not changing, lifts. You stop fighting yourself. You stop negotiating with reality. You stop pretending that staying is a choice when it's really just delayed leaving. And there's a strange kind of freedom in that, in the inevitability of it. You're not choosing to be brave. You're not forcing yourself to take a risk. You're just finally admitting what you've known all along. You can't stay here anymore. And if you can't stay, then you have to go. He felt that freedom. The freedom of finally stopping the argument with himself, of accepting that the life he'd been clinging to had already ended. He was the last one to notice. Here's what you need to understand. Your comfort zone isn't supposed to be permanent. It's a rest stop, not a destination. And when you turn a rest stop into a home, it stops serving its purpose. It stops being comfortable. The pain you're feeling, that's not a sign something's wrong with you. It's a sign you've outgrown where you are, and your body, your mind, your entire being is trying to tell you it's time to move. You don't need to be ready. You don't need a plan. You don't need confidence or clarity or certainty. You just need the pain of staying to finally be bigger than the fear of going. And if you're reading this, you're probably already there. If you've been feeling this and you're scared to take the first step, there's another video about why you're actually not stuck. You're just scared to start. Link right here. See you there.